Hello and welcome to another CR Reviews with your host, Sidra. And we'll be talking about the 2008 movie Monster. That's what we'll be going over. And yeah. Look, I'm gonna spoil everything about this movie so that you can make it's not a good review. Excuse me. Whew. Okay, Monster is supposed to be a like a quick rush movie, sort of to answer to what was the name of it?
Was it Cloverfield?
Yeah, Cloverfield. Yes, which was that was an all right movie. Cloverfield took you in, and I reviewed it when I think it was my first review. This movie was supposed to be that movie done a few months or days before, and it just it fails. Now
It was supposed to be a parody, wasn't it?
no,
Oh, just picking on
it's a mock up or something like that. It's kind of how Godzilla was to the Beast, from 20,000 Fathoms. Learning of that just yesterday. That movie predates Godzilla by just in movie terms moments. This movie here, Monster, it's nothing. It's not even close to the movie Monsters, which, wow, how can I say that movie was a little beautiful, scary, disturbing. I wouldn't say scary, but a thriller and whatnot. But this movie here, no, this movie was not good. And I'm gonna tell you, before watching it, when I read who was producing it, I said, "Oh, yep, this movie's gonna suck."
Yep.
The Asylum.
It's always a big tip off.
They don't ever do movies well, ever.
I think that's their goal.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Let me tell you what's good. I'm gonna tell you what's good about the movie before I just annihilate it. All right. The female actors in this and their interaction with others, going on any other movie and dealing with people, it was good. It was good. It gives them exposure. What's their acting skill? What's this and that? You could tell they had to be thrown out of their little privileged life, and they were just like, "How do I cope? I don't know what to do." They never knew what to do. In movies, we're spoiled with somebody always knowing what to do, always knowing where to go, how to handle a situation. These two females were out of their element, absolutely, and it showed. That's something that a lot of movies are missing. A lot of movies are missing that element. It's an adventure. So you're going from one place to the other, and they leave United States and they go to Japan, and they're supposed to do a thing on global warming. And I think that's cool. So, and what else was good? The lighting was good in the movie. Good lighting. I'm gonna say good scenery choices and things like that. Positioning of first person and camera toggling at minute points was spot on. Really well done. Consistency of the light from their camera in people's faces, great. The language barrier, trying to find things out, the difficulties of navigating in a country you don't know with a language you don't understand, trying to get anything done. I thought that was done very well. Don't know what's going on, don't know why it's going on, but they saying run. We don't know if we should run or not, but everyone's leaving. Let's roll. So that was done well. A lot of that stuff was done well. And nobody's going to mention it because they want to crap on everything else in the movie. But mostly we're spoiled with people knowing what to do, where to go, who to talk to, the best choices to make for weapons or escape and things like that. No, these females had no clue. Now, I can say this, I most likely wouldn't have made all of their decisions, but not one decision that they really made was stupid, except filming everything. But if you don't film, you've got no movie. So you've got to have that one person saying, we got to film all the time. You've got to have that argument. Okay. Now to get into the bad stuff. The camera is always shaky. They are jump cutting swiftly, speedily, expeditiously. You know, it's just black screen, something going on, black screen, something going on, black screen. We got to talk, black screen. We're going to go from here to here. Okay, a click. Action, black screen. Don't know what's happening, black screen. Weird pixelated screen. Sound of voice goes echoey, bass voice chipmunk. You know, like a chipmunk that then, you know, got a little Barry White into him. It's just...
This camera was better than the Energizer Bunny. It just kept going. It got blown up and dropped and tumbled, and it just kept recording. They kept being able to fix it so they could keep recording. I mean, this is an electronic device. They don't do well when they hit.
It just don't.
So the likelihood of this camera being able to survive all the tumbling and stumbling and rumbling and falling and debris and crap is slim. And yes, the jump cuts were annoying as fuck.
As a kid, I had a camera in the mid to late 80s. Camcorder. All right, camcorder. This movie is 2008, but I think it was supposed to be set in 2003. The camcorder I had was very well, and this is the kind where you got a little cassette you put in there. You take the cassette out, and then you put in a bigger cassette to fit in the VCR to play. That camcorder did great. I walked around with it, ran with it. To think that a camcorder made back then, now I had in the mid 80s, I think like 86, 87, 88 and whatnot, but it was obtained in like 84, 85. It was made, I think, in 83. And it did tons better than what this did. And that's supposed to be 2003. Their camera was grainy, dark, dull, didn't capture much, was always on the fritz. No battery life sign anywhere, because that would let you know stuff. It was just gross. So then we get to the monster. Well, no, before the monster, because that does happen. Not so. Oh my goodness. So like I said, it is an adventure. It's an adventure, and you get to see different scenery. Everything looked okay. They did good. For the movie is meant to be a rush job. It's not meant to be good. And in a disaster movie, that actually works. That actually works. How would it really look? What would things look like? This shaky camera? No. And 2003, yeah, cameras and phones were separate. For y'all that didn't know. Cameras and phones didn't start till, like publicly and affordable around 2007. Maybe 2009. So this here was just awful when it comes to trying to understand exactly where they are and the little time slots that show up that only showed up at random points. Nothing decent, nothing congruent. Just, oh yeah, let's put the time up because reasons. We're not going to put it up for a long time. And no matter where they go, hey, it's steady. Hey, look, they're talking and their faces in the camera. Something happens. Oh, the camera tumbles, flickering. Lots of flickering. If you suffer from like epileptic seizures and stuff, do not watch this.
Or bright light bothers you and gives you a headache.
Yeah, like Sidra. And here's the thing, bright light don't necessarily bother her, but that flickering bright light. And we get to the monster. Now, in the beginning, they showed some explosion, and I guess if you go back and look at it, you might see some kind of arm, like a tentacle, because it's supposed to be an octopus. And it looked pretty long, okay. And this thing is wrecking shop like damn near all over Japan. And the arm is supposed to be tunneling underground, which it did. At one point, they're walking out in the forest. There's rumbling, and the arm shoots out from underground. You only see it for maybe a fraction of a second. You see the dark, shadowy arm burst out the ground. The camera tumbles. It's all over the place. It's blanking and flickering and stuff. And then there's an upheaval of soil, and then they fall into the underground. And then one is underground. The other got to join them. But that's flickering. How she gets there, who knows? They run from a gas leak. They get out. And the whole time, it bugged me. At the beginning, I didn't care. It just kind of washed over me, and I didn't even notice it. But then I kept saying that we're American. We're American. Yes. It's like, I don't give a damn what you are. We're American. We're American. Because, to be honest with you, outer city people are taught that because you're American, you're special. You'll be treated great because you're American. You're United States. That's where you are. You're a U.S. inhabitant. That's in another land. You know, that's where you are. That's what you are. You know, because anyone from Mexico could say they're American. If you don't know why, check yourself. So these girls constantly keep saying this, and I get that they're talking to, you know, native people, you know, because that's what the Japanese are to their land. They are the natives. And I like how at points where you can kind of see a Japanese person be like, you know what? Yeah, okay. And then at points where it's like, I don't care. I don't give a damn. And I like these girls' reaction to like she's like, I've never seen a dead body. I've never seen this, and you know, I like that. How you respond? Because everyone in the other movie, they see a dead body, it's kind of like, you know, and it's like we gotta go, and they move on, and then all of a sudden they're cleared up. It's like they didn't have a chance to clear up, so that's a good thing. All movies are missing that. They're missing it. I cannot outright just crap on this craptacular movie. I've got to honestly point out the good parts of it. So the movie is, how can I say this? For the review, I think it's good to hear about it and know about it and know the elements in it. I would not recommend it. I would not recommend watching it. Now, unless you want to see what I'm talking about, and you'd probably be like, oh, well, he's got a great point. We don't get this in other movies. You get the arrogance, the confidence, and all this other stuff, but you never get that. And the only time that someone's unsure is when they're not getting what they want. That's it. That gets annoying. Fear. You get to see fear on their face. You don't see fear too much in movies like that outright. Now I'm saying you do get it, but you don't get it too much. One of the best moments of showing utter fear was in Rampage when Dwayne Johnson almost got chomped and he looked like holy crap. That was fear. In this movie, these girls they're crying and you can tell they like I said, they're out of the element. Fear. Not just I got a gun, I can handle this. No. I like seeing movies, and there are a good amount out there where they are scared and they have the upper hand. Or at least they think they do, but they're terrified. I love that. So this movie captured that. They had no upper hand at all. So let's get down to the monster. In the beginning, you get to see a tentacle wave over a building, and it's huge. And I was like, oh crap, it's one of those. It's one of those movies. And you see the tentacle show up again, and it's huge. All right. Oh, god damn. So, this monster seems to be following them at almost. You know, something under the ground. It's under the ground. It's okay. And you're trying to figure this out, and you're not sure what to do. And I understand fear and panic. But how much can you go through before you just kind of, I got to be solution oriented. It's ongoing fear that is the problem. Ongoing panic. Very little to no thought.
The thing that I noticed is that every group they met, someone died. It made it seem like they were the common denominator.
And the Japanese grandfather blamed them for releasing the creature. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm like, what? I'm like, what?
More like he said Americans. He didn't say them specifically.
Yeah, and the whole movie it's sort of a Birdemic kind of premise. You Americans contribute so much to global warming. Look at what we got. You released this creature. It's your fault. Like in Birdemic, I think it was the second one that really alluded to it. All this happening, global warming, and the planet wants to take it back and stop you all or something. Now, if you haven't seen Birdemic,
you haven't seen Awful.
One, you haven't seen Awful, and if you haven't seen Birdemic 1 and 2, you cannot critique a movie. You cannot justly critique if a movie is bad or not.
Oh my goodness.
Birdemic is so horrible, it is hilarious.
It is. The comparison to Birdemic, this is an Academy Award winning movie.
Yes, this right here should have been on the silver screen and grossing probably about $10 billion on this opening night.
Found footage documentary that was the piece of work of our time is wonderful in comparison.
But you gotta watch Birdemic, at least part 1, at least Birdemic 1, and then you'd be like, then I want you to think about how you've critiqued other movies. That's what you need to do. Now I'm not saying, well, this could be Birdemic, so I need to say something good. No. It's not that. If you're going to insult the acting, if you're going to insult the scenery, if you're going to insult graphics, CGI, anything like that, you can't do that until you've seen Birdemic. I'm just saying, watch Birdemic.
The worst acting that ever was.
So the tentacle in this movie is here and there, and at first it had promise, and then it got nighttime, and at nighttime you get a chance to see the tentacle overhead, and it seemed like at one point the tentacle had street lights at the bottom of it, like the suction cups were street lights.
It seemed like a repeater scenes to me.
Oh, it was. That's the thing about sci-fi movies, the repeater scenes. I don't have too much a problem with repeater scenes until your repeater scenes do this. In the beginning, the tentacles extremely far away, but they were about the size of a building. Later at night, the tentacles are up close and just the same size. So you think this, okay, this octopus creature should be under the city. Or I'm like, okay, you're at the bay. You got to be in the water, right? So doesn't that mean you're not really going to be a threat on land? And this thing seemed to have stayed near the coast, or at least the shore. Right there, the water's edge at the buildings. But somehow the tentacles reached miles and miles inland. So you would think this creature must be gargantuous. It's got to be larger than Gojira. But that's where they fail. They did right with consistency until the creature. At night, in the city, the tentacles were coming out of the street. 3 of them. They weren't that big. And they just wiggling. And I'm going to point something out. This movie, the jets flying, they did better graphics on the jet. They were mainly blurs, but you could see what they were, and it made sense. Ish. One of them flew, actually all of them flew close to the ground. And it seemed like they should have been breaking the sound barrier, but no glass rattling, no breakage, no one's ears are hurting or anything like that. One plane flew by, in the back of it, like it was some kind of futuristic vehicle. I was like, those are not burners or thrusters. That's different. Nothing you see on the back of a car or something. But these tentacles are sticking out the ground, wiggling in spot. And every time they show the tentacles, the planes or the people, the shooting is not happening where the tentacles are. It's like everywhere else. And now these tentacles are coming out the ground in a set of 3. Well, yeah, in one little grouping of 3, wiggling, doing nothing. But the gunfire, no gunfire is at it. Nothing's going on at it. Is they just there being a strange threat. And it looked like the octopus should have been right up under the street. But then it's like, well, how do you reach 5, 10, and 20, and 30 miles inland when you are no longer than maybe 10 meters at best, or 36 feet. But still, how do you do that? Those are the things that make this movie terrible. And as Sidra was saying, no matter where these girls go, the death of native citizens are around them. And it's like, yeah, they were alive and well until you got there. And the movie, the ending. Yeah, you probably wonder about, the ending. Like, get to the ending. What's the ending? After a while, it's like, well, we've filmed all that we care to film. Stop the movie. What are we going to do? Put some words up. That's what happened. A piece, it seemed like the tentacle fell or debris fell. Sister got hurt. It's like, she's there and she's trying to comfort her. And then like the girl either passed out or died, and then it just black scene. Mm-hmm. The girls were never found. The footage comes from their father. So here's the thing. They did. But no one knows that they're dead.
I mean, you could speculate. I'm sure that a lot of folks died that day.
7,000 people, as it kept saying.
They're 2 of the 7,000.
Yep.
How the hell did the footage get back to their dad?
Yep. So you get the footage, you view it, you see that the girls are in it. You know what they look like. They give their names. They're clearly American.
Clearly.
And Oh, it's a lot of breast shots in this. They show their breast and they show their backs and asses a lot. Which they've got very long backs and really flat asses.
And they're always dropping the damn camera.
And picking it up with back ass shots. Or getting right in their face and then showing breast shots. And I'm like, I would rather see some action instead of your body parts. You know? Just, I would rather something.
I think that's part of my deal with it too. It was, yeah,
All
stuff was going on, but it was just showing them running around crying.
Yep.
And they kept saying, we have to document this. We have to document this. But they weren't documenting anything but each other.
Not showing. Hold up. They're underground. Okay. We're underground, deep underground, in some kind of basement. And it's like, we have to document this. We have to show everyone, but we're not going to leave this spot. Like, cognitive dissonance, man. That's just, that is what we evolved into, having cognitive dissonance. And that being the one primary thing. Two opposing ideologies, and somehow they're both right. You know, you just can't. Oh, good grief. We got to show all of this, but we're going to stay here. Jump cut. We moved on. There's some false crying. There are some good and some bad with the movie. But the greatest good is that these actresses and actors are getting exposure. Maybe they can get some more practice. Maybe another movie, a major movie company might see them and say, you know what? Maybe we could work with this. You know? That's the positive. And that's the only good thing I can say about The Asylum. They crank out so many movies that they give a lot of people exposure. And I hope that exposure can help them get into other movies, no matter what level of part it is, and get them some practice and let them see what they can do. I think that is the positive of The Asylum, because it sure as shit isn't the quality of their movie.
No, it's not. Not at all.
I would honestly say not to watch Monster and just go with this review.
If you want to be frustrated, give it a watch.
Yeah, if you want to, and it ain't even frustrated with, why are y'all making stupid decisions? No. Why are y'all doing the same old thing? No. It's the movie, not the acting, that you'll be frustrated. Not the character decisions. No, not even the sound of combat and destruction. You won't be frustrated with that. You just be pissed off at the crazy black screens all at the right time. And in the other movie, they're showing the action. And I'm like this, you're holding the camera, something happens, why does it go black? Nothing happened to the camera.
There was no action.
There was no action. It's, this movie just, the reviews, I see why they say it sucks so bad. It's horrible, it's horrific. Birdemic is so horrible it got a cult following. This movie isn't going to have a cult following. Not even close. Not even close. Anyway, this has been CR Reviews of Monster 2008. Look, you did great, everyone. Thank you for listening.